Hey guys, if you ever gone to the liquor store and you've bought a bottle that maybe is a little out of your price range or it's at the very top of your price range and you buy it and you get home and you haven't even opened it yet and you've started to already experience that buyer's remorse, well, then this video is going to be for you because we're going to talk about some of the bottles that I have spent the most money on. Let's roll that intro. Welcome back, guys. I've had a really exciting week recently. I was on a podcast and then kind of got mentioned on the radio, and that kind of sparked some conversations with a few of my coworkers. And the question that always seems to come up when people find out that I have like a whiskey collection or I spend a lot of money on whiskey, almost always one of the first questions, top three, what's the most expensive bottle you've ever bought? Or what's the most you've ever paid for a bottle? So, we're going to talk about some of the bottles that I have paid the most for. Not all of them have been good decisions. Some of them have been remarkably bad decisions. But either way, I have them. They are here, and we're going to talk about them a little bit. I am going to precurse this with saying that I have paid way too much for a couple of bottles that aren't in this video, but they did not make the list because they weren't the most expensive ones. So the first one we're going to start off with, and these are just going to get progressively more expensive, right? So the first one was $145, and I walked into a Total Wine one day. I know, it's like how horror movies start, right? So I walk into a Total Wine one day, and I'm just looking around, I'm minding my business. You know, it's the day before payday, and I got a little extra cash left in the budget. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to buy a bottle. And I did the thing that I said I would never do and have not done since then, thankfully. I took the input of a Total Wine store employee and I purchased this bottle. Chestnut Farms, bottled in bond. This was $145. It's a wonderfully delightful packaging. It's got a really nice box. The bottle itself looks absolutely amazing. Yeah. The whiskey inside is not very good. It's just not. Anything from Total Wine that says it comes from Barton Distillery, I want you to think about this for a second. Pretty sure Barton is owned by Sazerac, and Barton is 1792. So if it's bad 1792, it means it's not even good enough to go into their own stuff. Not even their small batch. They're selling it off to everybody else. Just think about that. Right? Why would I want to pay 5 times as much for lower quality Barton distillate or younger Barton distillate? Just, something thrown out there for you guys. Okay. This next one was the first bottle that I think I paid more than $120 for. And I bought it because I was stopping at a liquor store near my now fiance's house. And, I was riding cloud nine, right? Because I was into this new relationship with this smoking hot Betty, and she was really into me, and clearly still is because, got that lockdown ring, right? But I decided that I was going to drop some big coin on a bottle, and I grabbed this guy, a Woodford Reserve batch proof. And I will tell you that I enjoy batch proof Woodfords more than I like the regular Woodfords. The regular stuff is fine in a cocktail, right? It's whatever. This is 123.6 proof. I have no idea what year this is from. It's the older bottle style, so that should give you somewhat of an idea if you're not like ultra familiar with these. But either way, very meh, So yeah, $150. Wasn't super happy about it once I got it open and tried it. And as you can tell, I haven't drank a whole lot out of it. Next up, this is one of the most expensive store picks I've ever purchased with knowing very little about it, but really glad that I did it. Whiskey War cigar cask. This is a $150 single barrel store pick. To my knowledge, this is the only cigar cask pick that made it to the state of Michigan in 2024. So it is a blend of straight whiskeys, handcrafted in small batches and finished in Brazilian Ambarana barrels. It's actually very, very good. Sam over at Harper Liquorland. I don't know if you guys can see the logo there. Sam picked this one, and tasting notes were pretty spot on. It's a super unique bottle. I'm really glad I have it, but it is one of the most expensive store picks I think I have ever paid for. Actually, that said, I got a couple more store picks here. So, got a Weller Full Proof from Harper Liquorland. We got another Weller Full Proof from Harper Liquorland. These are 2 separate years. Just don't drop those. And I got this is from a Red Wagon Weller Full Proof pick. Very nice there. I like that one. And this is a Brotherhood of the Barrel Weller Full Proof single barrel pick. So, yes, these are some of the most expensive bottles I have bought, and I regret none of them. They're all delicious. I love Weller Full Proof. I think it is the single best expression from the Buffalo Trace lineup that isn't William LaRue Weller or George T. Stagg. Most of these bottles have run me 180 or north of 180, and I know that sounds like, oh my God, you spent a lot of money on these, and I have. The difference being, I have also spaced these purchases out over a number of years. I haven't gone out and just like bought like 4 of these in a go, right? I have teased on Instagram before, like, oh, bought a case of Weller. I literally just got him to give me the box. That was it. There was not a bunch of bottles in there. So these were between $180 and $200, which is pricey. But the way I kind of justified it to myself was, along with these bottles, I usually also got like a kicker bottle. So like some Four Roses Yellow Label or Wild Turkey 101. So in my mind, it was really only like 150, right? It was like girl math, but not. So yeah. Couple more here. This year's 2024 release of the Murray Hill Club. This is the one that was finished in Calvados casks. And I guess we can just throw this one in here too. This is a Joseph Magnus cigar blend. Specifically, this is batch 59, which was a Michigan-only release. This one is extremely delicious. This one is pretty good. These were both around $200. I don't regret either of these purchases, especially because some of these lower batch numbers of Magnus are really, really good. Some of these newer batches that are coming out, the blends just aren't as good. I don't know if the stocks aren't as old, but I would not spend that kind of money on those bottles nowadays. That's just me. But this Calvados one, if you guys see it, I recommend getting it. It's batch 4, very, very tasty. The next 2 from the same distillery, so these are the last 2 on the list, right? And they are both from Mayor Pingry, and they were both $200. Blue label, black label. For those of you who don't know the difference, because it took me a second to figure it out because I'm slow, a little slow on the uptake. Blue labels are the single barrels, so 10-year age-stated barrel-proof single barrel. And this was actually a holiday market pick, 10 years, cask number I11. And this one is 131.4 proof, so a little bit of a proofy gal, pretty okay. And then this one I just recently got. This was a Cask Club pick, and this one is their black label, so it's a 10-year blend, but that means the youngest in this is 10 years, so some of it's probably older, I'd be willing to bet. And this one is 135.2 proof, so also pretty high up there. And this is batch number CC24, so Cask Club blend number 24. Just for poops and giggles, I also did pick up this one at the Cask Club event. It was, I didn't even know this was going to be there until I got to the event. It was an 11-year rye, but this one was only like $90. So it's finished in gin barrels, and it's very, very good. I like it a lot. But that is, those are some of the bottles that I have paid the absolute most for. Very few of these do I actually regret. Oh, somewhere in there, this should be on the list too. The Jack Carr 16-year. I know what you guys are saying. Yeah, it's MGP light whiskey. Why would you pay like $175 for it? Because it's awesome and it's delicious. And I ended up getting a second bottle for free because the one got lost in the mail, and then it somehow made its way to me like way later than it was supposed to, but it was still sealed. So I got 2 for the price of 1. So that's kind of why I didn't count it on this list. because the retail on these is quite expensive. But if you average it between the two bottles, it was less than $100, so it didn't really make the list. But these are some of the bottles that I have paid the most for. This can be a really expensive hobby. You don't have to spend that kind of money. I have done it over a number of years. I've gradually stepped up what I spend on bottles, and now I've gotten to the point where I'm a little bit more particular about what I spend money on in terms of bottles. I'm not just running out and grabbing everything. I'm doing a lot more research with tasting notes and seeing if things are going to line up with my palate. So that part is what it is. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed this a little bit, because everybody seems to ask that question. And don't get me wrong, I love talking about the collection. I love talking about my bottles. I love talking about whiskey in general, anything. You guys ever want to talk about whiskey, you guys hit me up, leave me a comment, whatever. Which brings me to my next point. Make sure you guys smash that like button, hit the subscribe, drop me a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. We got some more exciting stuff coming in the near future here. I'm always working on something. I appreciate your patronage. And yeah, I will see you next time. Cheers.